Well, it is around 7:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on a Tuesday, which means we are going to be here painting live for just about under 2 hours. So remember the schedule, everyone. If you are watching this for the first time live, or if you're watching this for the first time as a pre-recorded video, the schedule is around 7:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Tuesdays and Thursdays. So, hello there, Stephanie Thompson, Menno. Welcome to the stream. So I'm going to keep working on this painting that I've been working on for a while now on the YouTube channel. Like I said, let me know if you get bored of this one. Once again, this is a larger painting that we are working on. You can see the drapery. There's still yet to be much stuff done here, so there's going to be flowers and probably just a simple gradation of dark to light on the wall. So probably just going to be a simple gradation of maybe just lighter, like gray, green or something, to darker, and then flowers over there. The picture frame is going to be worked on a little bit today, at least I hope. The landscape still has some stuff that I need to do to it, which is why you're still seeing the photo reference there. So the last thing I left on was the tree, and I'm going to show you how to double check your painting and make sure that it is dry enough for you to continue working on it. So run a palette knife across it. Make sure that nothing comes off. Just the easiest way to check. Oh good, thanks Menno. Okay, nothing has come off. So that means we are able to continue working on this. So the tree is very, very simplified right now, and we need to unsimplify it. We need to make it even more tree-like, I guess. So the most important thing at this point is going to be starting off with something simple. So I'm just going to mix the sky color. So just ultramarine blue, cobalt blue, and white. Obviously the sky is not going to be straight up blue. I'll throw in some yellow ochre. Try to make a nice sky blue. And it seems like this tree is very thin on the top. If you're looking at the reference there, it's got some little hints of almost nothing, almost like someone's been chewing on it. Oh, thanks, Stephanie. Yeah, I'm gonna continue to add stuff. Definitely something that I like to do is to combine different images. I think this is fairly common in the art world today, but combining different images and creating something that didn't quite exist before. Obviously, when the model posed for this image, there wasn't all this stuff behind her. Hey Angela, welcome back. Oh good, I'm glad you're not bored. So when I get into the, I call it impossible subtleties, which I'm not at that stage with the landscape at all, but once it starts to approach more subtlety, less progress is going to be made, and it's just going to be kind of me working in the same level of detail for a long period of time. So with trees, just like anything else in nature that you're painting, you want to make sure that you are careful with not imposing symmetry. My palette's just trying to fall off of the little thing here, but in any case, don't impose symmetry. So I want to make sure that, just like with the drapery, for example, I was talking about this with the drapery, I don't want to repeat this same shape over here, for example. And then later I'm going to go in with a smaller brush and start to put in those things for the leaves. So we've got a little robot here. I spy with my little eye, little robot. So I'm going to eliminate it. Okay. I just got rid of a robot. So I'm going for the big masses of the tree. And I'm very deliberate with the shapes. And this is why, I suppose why, most landscape painters, and I'm only supposing here because I wouldn't consider myself a, expert in landscape painting, because I'm more of an expert, at least I hope I am, in portrait painting. So with a tree, for example, the reason I didn't go in the Bob Ross method, get the paint and go in with a fan brush and just tap 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 like Bob Ross, is that I just can't think enough to I can't think strongly enough in the symmetry here, because if I go very quickly with the tree like this, I'm just going to automatically repeat shapes. So this way, painting like this, I'm deliberately making irregularities in this tree shape, and this tree shape is going to be nothing like that. It's going to be slightly less detailed. It's going to be similar. I shouldn't have said nothing, but it's going to be similar, but not as detailed. Amen. Oh, yeah. At least I know it's not like genuine people that are out to get me on YouTube. It's just little programs that are called robots. So remember, this is a virtual painting session. You can ask me any art-related questions you'd like. And please feel free to ask a question that you would like everyone to talk about. I tend to almost always ask the same questions, although once in a while I come up with a new one. So I'll start with the very basic one, I guess. What did you paint or do art related today, if anything? And no shame if you didn't do any painting today, it's okay. But did anyone work on any paintings today? Or anything art related? Hey, John McGeekin. Thanks for joining. Hey, Leonie. Oh, thank you. I'm actually kind of glad that this is a painting within a painting. This is a landscape painting within a portrait painting. So I'm allowed to not make the best landscape painting possible because I'm not a landscape painter. I I would like to go and do plein air painting and stuff like that and paint more landscapes, but it's just not my forte. I like landscapes if they are in the context of a portrait painting, like this one. So I can get away with some stuff here, since this is a painting. It's not supposed to be like an actual landscape. Hey David, welcome. Okay, in Maine, you didn't paint today, but you're always painting in your head when working or driving in the car. I feel that way. Like I was saying, my pastime or thing that I do in my free time when I'm not working is rollerblading, and I think about that actually during the day, like what new trick can I learn or whatever. I mainly skate in mini ramps, so I don't do anything too risky. And you think about it, and as you think about your interests, you actually can learn and progress just from the very contemplation of it. David Bonnet, today you were painting an ocean. Awesome. Hey Menno, painting today and right now. Oh, awesome. Portrait of a Hungarian brunette. Cool. Hey Brian Wong. Okay. So this top section is pretty close to the way I want it to look. I may not even go in with a small brush and add the little details for the leaves because I don't really care too much to do that. Like I said, it's a painting within a painting, so not that much pressure to make it look like a really realistic landscape. Alright, next question to ask everyone. Simple one. What is your favorite brand of oil paint? If you could pick just one brand, what would your favorite brand be? I'm going to struggle with that one. I just set myself up for that one. There's some colors that I have on here that just wouldn't exist in like Rublev, which would be my favorite brand, but they don't have colors like Viridian or like Cerulean Blue. I just shot myself in the foot with that one. So what would be your favorite brand if you were to pick one? I think at this point I might have to stick with Winsor Newton, but they don't have lead white, so no. I guess Williamsburg. Yeah, I think Williamsburg would be the one. No, this is hard. It's between Williamsburg and Old Holland. Hey Angela, you didn't paint today? That's okay. Your paintings are progressing so much in the online classes, so you can take a day off. It's okay, Angela. Hey, you. Excellent work on your paintings, by the way, Duke. I'm so happy to see them. The Neo-Megilp, that's a good one. I have quite a few Gamblins on there. Angela, your favorite is Rembrandt brand. Cool. Oh, we got another one for Gamblin. Gamblin is pretty good. My which one is it? My Alizarin Permanent is a Gamblin. I think it should be a Gamblin. Oh, I think I'd have to go. I think Williamsburg, because I think they have much more of a chromatic variety than Old Holland. Their lead white is pretty good. But there's Michael Harding. It's so hard to choose. No, I changed my answer. I take it back. No, I'd say my favorite, if I were to pick only one brand, would be Michael Harding. I have Michael Harding lead white. I have Michael Harding lead tin yellow. And just from those two, I suppose the other ones that they have are pretty good too. It's a tough question. I set myself up with that one. Hey, Javi Jav. Right, you have the same dilemma I have between Williamsburg and Michael Harding. Hey, I'm glad you like the pointers from the virtual classroom. And I just posted that too. Wow. Oh, what does composition mean? Yeah, of course. Composition means the big design of a painting. So, for example, composition in a painting. It's not like composition in music, though I guess there might be some similarities. But for example, if you just look here, like the abstract design, like forget the fact that this is a human face. This is just light. This is light, and this is light, and this is dark, dark, and dark. But composition just means the abstract design of the elements in a painting that draw the viewer's attention. So the way that your eye goes across a painting is the very nature of composition. But there's also composition in photography too, in the same sense. So the way that you crop an image when you take a picture of it or something like that, it's similar, but composition in painting involves much more than just the things that you paint, but also the way that you paint them. So in a compositional standpoint, like, yes, there is the abstract design between these big patterns of light and dark, But there's also things like color, like more color pushing here, more color over here, you know, more grays like in the trees and the mountains, you know, contrasting the, maybe say, the warmth of the skin tones. So it's the way that you control how the viewer's eye travels around the picture. That's a good question. So David Winsor Newton, Stephanie Winsor Newton, Menno Old Holland, all excellent brands. It's just so hard to choose one. I could change it up and ask you what your least favorite paints are, but that might be kind of mean to some brands. Okay, in Maine, you learned about Gapka paint today. Never heard of them. But thanks for sharing the information. Yep, no problem, Yuke. Okay, so now I gotta clean off the brush, and I'm gonna have to mix this color for the mountain and start to go and add that color in there. And all the while, I'm trying my best not to impose symmetry. You see that there's nothing that's overly symmetrical. There's also the grouping of elements in this tree, and there's no way I could have painted this like this with a bunch of brush strokes. And just nailed all of these asymmetries and patterns. There's just no way my mind can work that fast. So that's why I had to do this the way that I am. Dioxazine purple. See, that's another one. You can't quite get it in Rublev. Rublev is like one of my favorites, made by Natural Pigments. I have Rublev's. This is orange molybdate. It's it's a lead cadmium orangey fiery red, and this one is chrome yellow. It's a lead yellow, more intensely. I guess it's more intense, I think, than cadmium, but I don't know. I think they're kind of the same, if you ask me. But if you've never heard of Rublev brand, it's really, really centered towards traditional old master colors. And if you ever want to buy traditional colors like lapis lazuli or like I forgot what it's called, vermilion, colors like that, Rublev and Michael Harding would be a good place to find them. Alright, so next question for everyone. This one's going to be kind of mean, but might as well. What is your least favorite brand of oil paints? Least favorite brand. That's a hard one because they're all really good. They all have their excellent qualities to them. But someone's had to run across a brand that they just don't like for some reason. And tell us why you don't like it. What bad experience did you have with certain oil paint brand that kept you from buying them again? This had to have happened to at least somebody. I can tell you mine, though don't tell anybody. So my least favorite is the Artisan brand from Winsor Newton. Their water mixable is just, it's got this kind of gooey quality to it. that I just don't quite like. They don't do water mixable oil paints justice, and that's why I recommend Cobra Talons to those that want to do water mixable. So as long as we're nice about it, you know, like Winsor Newton Artisan is not terrible. It has a gooey feeling to it that I'm not used to. Oil paints usually have this kind of like melted butter feel to them. It's a silly reason to not like a brand, but that's just me. That's who I am. Hey, Alexander. Hey, you new to oil painting? Only used one brand. Tried acrylic first time yesterday, and it's messed up. Acrylic is not that forgiving. It's not like oil paint where you can, you know, place a mark down and 20 minutes later you can change it if you want. Acrylics, they do tend to have different characteristics. Not bad necessarily, but they dry really fast. They're not as uh, forgiving. Don't be shy. If there is a brand of oil paints that you didn't have the best experience with, we want to know. Not like I'm a super famous artist or YouTuber, so it's not like, you know, millions of people are going to hear this from us. So we've got a little small community here. Hey Leonie, you started with student quality paints like Marty? I haven't heard of that one. They don't have the pigment quality of paints like Gamblin. Most of the time, student quality paints are going to not do a good job representing their brands. Like student grade anything really is usually going to have a less than favorable experience. Yeah, with the course that I'm going to be teaching in person, if I can get enough students to teach it, um, I I outlawed student grade paints in my syllabus. But thanks to the old pandemic, I haven't really been able to get enough students to teach an in-person class. But I still run on a portrait painting group on Wednesdays if you ever want to paint with me. And you live in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. Little sparkles of light here. Okay, so I'm not going to paint this tree as skinny looking as the tree looks like over there. It's just going to take way too much time, and I've got to make it to the picture frame soon. Although I'm not really pressed for time, I'm just lazy. Alright, let's change up the question now for everyone, since nobody wants to speak ill of any brand. Very commendable, very commendable. Let's see. Another question that I would like everyone to talk about, because this is one of the most fun parts about doing these live painting videos. Let's say, what is your ultimate painting that you can ever picture in your mind that you would paint? Can you picture the most amazing painting possible for you to create? Describe it in as much detail as you possibly can. You gotta be creative for this too. And in order to be creative, you just need to be yourself. Because everyone's different. Everyone's different. Everyone is able to be creative. So for me, I've thought about this a lot, and I've been trying to do this for a while now. I want to make paintings with people in environments, multiple people in environments that have reptiles or just animals in general. I want to have paintings that have both portrait, figure, landscape, still life, and things like tarantulas and ball pythons and iguanas and things like that. Like I want to make epic paintings that have all of that stuff in it. As you can see, I mean, this is a painting that has a landscape and it has a portrait. It has a face, but it also has a body. Like there's a figure painting in it. You can see where I'm trying to head with what direction I'm trying to head in with my painting. I need to get some better questions. Somebody help me out here. What question do you think everyone should talk about? Okay, so almost about done with this tree. I'll add some little details of light. Little traces of light. So for Minnow, you'd be very happy / grateful if you're able to paint a portrait and capture the model's personality on canvas. Very, very well written. Capturing the personality that a model has is one of the most rewarding things to do in a portrait painting. It seems simple when you look at a painting that you can see the personality and things like that, but it's not simple to do. And that's one of the, I think, one of the most sincere and I think very admirable goals to have in painting. And I have the same goal. I want to be able to capture personality, but for me, I think it's more about trying to create paintings that are like, I guess, epic, like with a lot of stuff in them, more than the individual personality of the people. But for you, that goal to capture the personality is a wonderful goal to have. David Bonnet, what best way to conserve a painting? That's a good question we can talk about. Menno, someone's essence. Yeah, the essence of the model. That's very profound. Very difficult. It's even difficult to say what that is in a painting. It's almost tantalizingly close to the realm of the subjective. So it's difficult to pinpoint. And a lot of times, capturing the personality of the likeness is just one part of capturing the essence of a person. Sometimes it's the things that you emphasize, almost like a caricature, but more realistic than that. It's a very deep concept. The Jim Adams for you would be being able to paint landscapes with wildlife. Well, that's a good goal to have. Definitely a good one. You'll say you love David Hockney and Edward Hopper paintings. You want to create quiet but fascinating atmosphere with multiple people and interesting environments. Awesome. That's a great goal to have. You're already on your way. Already on your way. Excellent. Yep, I agree, Menno. So David Bonnet, the best way to conserve a painting is to, number one, follow fat over lean when you're constructing it, meaning don't put too much slow drying medium in too soon. Fat over lean, meaning build your painting as lean as possible at first, and it's not too difficult to do. Just make sure not to use too much medium. The only place I think I used medium in this little landscape area was there, so not too much medium. Just make sure that your paintings are not in areas with too much sunlight. Direct exposure to sunlight can be not so great for paintings. And the other one is humidity, and then the trivial ones, the basic things like keeping your paintings away from like children or something like that. Children or pets, or especially cats, that can scratch or damage your paintings. Big ones are humidity and avoiding direct sunlight. Edward Soto, you don't know what your goal is in painting. That is perfectly fine. Trust me, most of us don't know what our goals are until we start painting for a number of years. And even then, it's so hard to figure out. I tell you, Edward, the best way to find what your goals are in painting would be to go to museums. Just spend as much time as you possibly can in museums. And not saying that you would want to copy what they do in the museums, but you know, oftentimes what people did in the past is something that we can implement in one way or another. So for me, I think of Peter Paul Rubens. Of course, I think of Nelson Shanks because he's my superhero. I think of Sargent. I think of Velasquez, Vigée Lebrun. Yep, no problem, John McGeekin. Thanks for joining. I know it must be really late over there in Scotland. So Leonie, there was an interesting show about underrepresentation of women artists in art history. Did anyone name four famous women artists? All right, good one, good one. Thank you. That's a good one. So for me, Artemisia Gentileschi would be one. Vigée Lebrun would be another one. Currently today, you should all look this name up, Colleen Barry. She's pretty famous, alive today. And of course, everybody's going to say it. Everyone's going to say it, but I do appreciate her artworks as well. Frida Kahlo is one that everyone's going to mention. I could probably keep going. Cecilia Bow is another one. I'm gonna leave it at that. I added an extra because everyone's gonna mention Frida. So that's a good one. That's a good one, Leonie. So everyone type your name 4 famous women artists, and it's okay if the names overlap. So Brian Wong, your ideal painting is to create a work that another person would say, that looks really nice, and say, how much do you want for it? Good one. Solid art jokes. That is great. You know, I feel the same way. I should have said that instead. Oh, if only I could sell more paintings. That would be great. Yep, that's the dream. Sorry, this palette keeps getting crooked. And I kicked the camera, of course. Alright, so we got one female artist name here. Susan Loyne. Sounds familiar, I should know who that is. Leonie student Susan was a student of Richard Schmidt. That's what that sounds familiar. There's also David LaFell's wife. I forgot her name. She's also famous and alive today. Right now it's time to start to put some stuff in for this frame. I'm going to clean off a brush. Minnow. Oh wow, your mother is an artist. Drawings and paintings. You grew up in galleries and museums. Whoa, cool. I did not have that luxury. That's awesome. Angela Arcilla do Amara. Okay, I gotta look that one up. Cool. Thanks for sharing. Alright, so I'm gonna now mix a gold. And I like to use Indian yellow and lead tin yellow. I'm gonna have to thin the paint out a little bit on some mineral spirits. Alright, can we get some more names of famous female artists? The original question was, can you name 4 famous female artists? And I think 4 each person. I don't think it was 4 total. I definitely know a couple other ones in my head, but I want to give everyone a chance to type them out. And Jim Adams. Oh, okay, so you own one of your grandmother's paintings. That was great. My grandma used to draw little ducklings when I was a kid, and I think that's the only thing I've ever seen her draw. I did have a grandma from my dad's side that was into ceramics. Doesn't want to stay still. Crap. There we go, now we got some names. From Leonie, Janet, Umbra Stewart, Australian artist who was recently rediscovered. Cool. You, Mary Cassett, definitely Mary Cassett. That was one of the ones I was going to mention, but didn't. I was waiting for someone to write Mary Cassett. From class, another one. Marigin Bastin, haven't heard of that one. Awesome. All these names I've not heard from or heard of. Great one, Minnow. You, yep, definitely Frida Kahlo. Hey Rusty. Thanks for watching from California. Okay, so with this picture frame, this plane is receiving more light, which is why I made it brighter. Now I'm going to very carefully start to put in little designs for the picture frame. So I'm going to use a kind of copperish gold color, and you're going to see what I'm going to do. Cadmium green. Brian Wong, Georgia O'Keeffe. That's one name that I have heard in the past. Awesome. A little bit of burnt sienna. And I'm going to create a thread-like design in here and over here. Not from any one picture frame that I'm looking at, it's just I'm just coming up with things in my head. Gotta do this very patiently though. One wrong move and I'm going to have to erase and redraw. I should probably zoom you in so you can see what it is I'm doing. Nothing special really, it's just a little detailing. I did write that in the title, I hope. Details for a large portrait. From class Meadow Gifts, another one I haven't heard of. Definitely worth looking these names up. This is another thing, I'm really happy that I enabled live chat replay. So those of you that are watching this after the stream ended, those of you watching this in the future relative to me, definitely look at the live chat replay. You will be able to see all of these comments play in real time, just as if it's live. So it's a little crooked. Some of these are not quite as symmetrical, but oh well. Alright, so now I'm going to paint in another little ledge here. More of a dark goldish. So burnt sienna. Alright, so now let's ask another question for everyone. Question we can all talk about. And this is going to be a repeat of one that I've mentioned before, so please feel free to answer. That question is going to be, what is your favorite surface to paint on? What do you enjoy painting on the most? Do you enjoy painting on cotton canvas, linen canvas, oil primed linen canvas, oil primed cotton canvas? Do you prefer to paint on wooden panels, acrylic primed wooden panels? You can even tell us what your favorite brand of panel or canvas is. Hey Jolyn. Well, thank you. Let's see. Will you be making the painting that is in the painting go back in space some? Yeah, I will. At least I plan on it. So whenever this is dry and completely finished, which I think the background is, at least this part I don't want to really do too much more to. I will probably glaze it with maybe a violet or something to push it back a little bit, I think. Or I might just leave it as it is, I don't know. The plan was to push it back, but I kind of like it, so I may just keep it. Thanks for your compliment. Burnt sienna, lead tin yellow, Indian yellow, a deeper, more fiery gold. Alright everyone, what is your favorite surface to paint on? And if you've just began painting and you've only worked on one type of painting or one type of surface, that is okay, let us know. Oh right, I should probably answer that question. My favorite is working on oil primed linen, Classen's brand. Oil primed linen, Classen's brand. And I like the very fine texture. Oof, dangerous. Gotta thin out the paint a little bit. Some Gamsol and we can make a very fine line. Edward Soto, right now you enjoy painting on canvas paper. It is absorbent and you really like the texture. Cool, I've worked on canvas paper a few times. It is a nice texture. So Daniel Holt, a wooden surface. Yeah, wooden panels are pretty nice, especially the cradled ones. A Jolyn primed wooden panel, that's nice. Menno, a linen with gesso, an undercoat of burnt sienna and burnt umber. Oh, very nice. Very nice indeed. Let's see, bean pot, you've only worked on canvas, but you're trying to make some wood panels. Wooden panels are really nice. I definitely would suggest using Liquitex Professional Acrylic Gesso for your wooden panels. The Leonie wooden primed wooden panels. David Bonnet, Winsor Newton, medium grain, 100% cotton. Awesome. A lot of suggestions for wooden panels. That's pretty neat. Alright, so I'm going to mix up a brighter yellow. class, you like to paint on Masonite. The Masonite panels are pretty nice. Good choice, good choice. If anyone's wondering why I'm wearing gloves at the moment, it is because off camera I'm cleaning off the T-square with paper towel, and so my hand can come into contact with the paint. So that's why I'm wearing gloves. So from Julian, your favorite is Gesso Board Museum Series panel. There you go. There you go. That's a nice one. That's my favorite panel to use. From the Ampersand brand. Hey Daniel, you learned this from John McDonald, retired professor, to use wood panels. Yep, wood panels are great. They definitely are the most archival next to aluminum. I'd say working on metal is probably the most archival. No one said anything about aluminum panels. I like aluminum panels. As long as you prepare them with good quality gesso, like Liquitex Professional Acrylic Gesso. It's a really, really good one. Aluminum panels are really nice too. I'm going to mix the background color here. It's just going to be a dark kind of grayish green shadow. Daniel Holt, what about brushes? Alright, let's do that then. What's everyone's favorite type of brush to use? And just let's just say your favorite brand, and let's say your favorite brand and your favorite type. For example, types include filbert, round, flat, bright, round, cat's tongue, liner. So those are what the types are. Brands include Winsor Newton, Robert Simmons, Silverbrush, Rosemary, Artist Loft. I can't think of any other ones at the moment. Oh, Princeton Catalyst. Hey Leonie, you'd like to learn to paint on copper panels? Yeah, copper would be great. I painted on one copper panel once, and then I lost it. It was a small one. It's still floating around here somewhere. It's a small 5 by 6 inch painting, and I lost it. I don't know where the heck it is. I lost it. Hey man, yeah, aluminum. It's definitely a good one to use. If you go to Jerry's Artorama, they have some really nice ones. I think I missed a comment here from Rusty. He started out portraiture working with pastels, which was easy because you've been working in theater makeup for a show. So cool. Awesome. Yeah, I never heard of that background going into painting. That's great. Menno, you like Da Vinci? Jolyn, you like Rosemary? Depends on the style of brush. Oh, right, I should answer that question. I like this one. This is basic. This is a Silver Brush Grand Prix filbert. Just the regular Silver Brush size 2 Grand Prix filbert. You can get so much done with this thing. I like the extra long filberts too, but it takes a while for the extra longs to get to this size as the regular filbert. It's just an all-around jack of all, master of none brush. Not perfect for any one particular thing, but it's great for pretty much almost anything. Except for covering like a big wall, for example. The Mineral Black Sable. Yeah, I tend to like Silver Brush brand. I have the one with the gold end to it is a Sable. So this is a Sable. This is a size 5 pure red Sable round. But I also like the size 4 cat's tongue. Not made from cat's tongues. And I will tell you, good quality brushes are more expensive than cheaper quality brushes, but they last longer than buying a bunch of cheap brushes. So I think you actually save more in the long run by just buying the good quality brushes. It's kind of like cars, isn't it? Like you can buy a cheap one easily, but it may not last you as long. So you might end up spending more later on. Just as I said that, you're saying just the cheap ones from Amazon. That's okay. That's how I started, and that's how I worked for years, really. When I first started live streaming back in 2020, before I took a break from that, I used pretty much just cheap anything I could get, just cheap brushes. And I ended up spending way more with those brushes than I do with these silver brushes. So I've got another robot. Let me take care of this robot. And I've got nothing against robots. I mean, Futurama is like my favorite TV show. My spirit animal is Bender Rodriguez. So I've got nothing against robots. It's just these little programs that tend to join and say things or write things they're not supposed to. So Daniel Holt, you also use hardware brushes, 2 to 3 inch wide for landscape painting. Oh, I haven't thought of that one. Alright, so this is going to be the bottom of this. I don't want it to dry really sharp. And her hair is obviously cutting into here, so see how I'm kind of using the paper towel to make it look like her hair is overlapping here. That's called artistic laziness. In class, use a list. Use for a list of different textures. Your favorite, a rigger brush. Yep, those are good. I think Sargent used those to draw over top of his charcoal. So rumor has it when Sargent would start, he would start with charcoal very loosely and then get a rigger brush and go over his outlines with umber. Daniel Holt, what about glazing? We could talk about that. That might be a little different from the materials, but that's okay. Okay, so glazing. What's everyone's favorite method to glaze? Brushes, paints, mediums, subject matter. Rather than me trying to answer that one right away, I'm going to see what everyone has to say. What is your favorite use and type of method for glazing? So once again, I'm going to throw a little details in here. So those of you that glaze in your paintings, the question is, what is your favorite method to glaze? And you can also answer by saying, what is your favorite subject matter that you like to glaze? Basically, the method and the application for how you glaze. And I'll answer that question shortly. Really should use a smaller brush for this. Alright, so it seems like we've reached a new level of silence with this question. So I'm going to answer how I like to glaze and what method I like to use. The method is quite simple. I like to thin out my paint with medium, whatever medium I choose. If I'm in an earlier stage of a painting, then I'll use Neo-Megilp. If I'm in a later stage of a painting, I mean like much later stage in a painting, I'll use 50-50 mix of spiked lavender oil and cold pressed linseed oil. However, sometimes I can just let a painting sit and dry for weeks and then return to it with my faster drying medium without too much of a worry. So what I do, I like to glaze over top of something that I say I'm in the impossible subtleties, like for example, like the face, right? I'll probably use this trick later on when I return to the face. If I see nothing else I want to add to the face, I'll just glaze the whole thing dark, like one little, just maybe like one shade darker, and then I'll paint light into that glaze. That's one of my favorite ways to use glazing. I also like to paint into a glaze for drapery, for example. This I started with just a dark glaze without anything underneath of it, and then I started adding light over top of it. So Napoleon, well, thank you. What colors am I using? I'm using, what's a good one? I kind of forgot. I'm using burnt sienna, lead tin yellow, Indian yellow. That's in this little puddle here. So Daniel, use burnt sienna or umber for underpainting and wiping out. Use of various colors are thinned out for glazing. There you go. A good answer there. A class never glazed yet, still a rookie, no problem. Just get yourself a nice medium like Neo-Megilp from Gamblin. I'm not sponsored by them, though I wish I was. This right here, Neo-Megilp. Use it to thin out your paint and apply a very thin application of color, and you're solid. And there's a glaze. Napoleon, when did I start painting? How many years? I started painting between the age of 17 and 18. So I was a senior in high school in 2009. So that is about 13 years ago. I've been painting for 13 years, though I did take some time off in my early 20s. Not that much time off though. "13 years painting." I'm still motivated to paint better and better every day. And that's a question we can ask everyone. That's a question I've asked before, but let's go ahead and ask it again. How long has everyone been painting? How many years? How many months? How many weeks? I couldn't tell you how many weeks I've been painting. I don't remember exactly when I started painting. I just know I was a senior year in high school. But before then, I always used to draw. I like to draw cars. I used to try to make up cars. I would draw Dragon Ball Z. Oh, thanks, Daniel. Yep, no problem, class. Oh, what age? I was 17 turning 18. I remember this specifically because my teacher Paulden, I remember when I had to take my first figure painting course. I remember I was too young. I wasn't 18 yet, but I was able to go and paint anyway. Hey, Beanpot, you took up painting during the pandemic. Oh, very recently. Welcome to the world of oil painting. Hey, Libertas. Daniel Holt, you just restarted 2 years ago after you retired. And now you're 71 and having fun, or having the time of your life. Awesome. Yeah, I taught, I had a 90-year-old student when I was teaching in person, and he learned so fast. Okay, so for this section of the frame, since I'm making this frame up, I am going to put a gradation from a thick piece of gold that just rolls into shadow slightly. Hey class, did you start with a lot of time drawing before painting? Not really, I just kind of went into painting. My first teacher was, I was very lucky. I always tell everyone I'm very fortunate to have had the teachers that I had early on. My first teacher, his name is John Ebersberger. He studied with Henry Henschel. And you don't need to write all these names down. I could just very well just say I studied with this one dude who was really good, and he studied with some other dude that was like very famous and well known for his teaching, and that's Henry Henschel. He was John Ebersberger's teacher, so I was taught pretty much from the beginning color and how to see things as shapes of color, and it wasn't until later that I got into drawing, more refined drawing, when I started studying with Paul Hamilton. I call him one of my mentors, and then I did an entire year of drawing when I was at Studio Incaminati in Philadelphia. And I was at Studio Incaminati for 2 semesters, so the year and the summer. Menno, haven't painted like for 12 years, but recently picked it up again. Oh, I'm glad you like these live painting sessions. It's great to have you here. I feel the same way. I took 10 years off of rollerblading. That's one of my pastimes now. I took 10 years off before I started doing it again in the summer. So I can relate. Napoleon, you started painting when the lockdown began. Welcome to the world of painting. Class, only one year, then you realized you have to learn to draw. So that is what you do at the moment. Always remember, there's really no difference between painting and drawing. When you paint, you draw with color, or you just draw with paint. So that's one of the things that I was very fortunate to learn kind of early on. It's not like you just learn to paint, okay, you learn to draw, now you can paint. No, it's you learn to draw as you learn to paint. And the only exception is if someone is doing color study, and that's a whole different thing. But I do understand the need to do more drawing. When I went to Studio Incaminati, for example, the program was set so you would only draw in charcoal for the first, basically the first 2 semesters there. Napoleon, so you're 15. Wow. You're just getting started with life. No, I don't mean to make fun. I mean, 15 is an excellent age to start. Of course, you're so young, you can explore, so many things. You can explore music, science, everything really. Just don't let people determine your life. Don't let people tell you what to do. You will find what you truly love when you don't have to think about it. It's what comes naturally. Napoleon, do I trace my images? No, I didn't trace this one. I don't really have the patience for tracing. I just draw with very basic shapes, and I'd say you can trace in the beginning if you're interested in learning how to color in like values and stuff. There's no problem with that. But eventually you do want to learn how to draw without having to use something like a trace. Daniel Holt, you took a father/daughter class 30 years ago at Kendall School of Art and Design in Michigan. Oh, wow. Menno, drawing is the root of all good and evil. It is. Drawing is the root of all good and evil in painting. And that's because that's all it is. It's all just drawing. Oh, thank you, Daniel Holt. So kind of you. Class, let's see. So quite a lot of drawing after you started painting. Yeah, definitely. Drawing is very important, and the methods that you learn are very important as well. Like, for example, like if you study the bark drawings, like for example, for project 2, the first project that I have my students do. It's odd that I call it project 2, but project 2 is the one that I recommend people start with in my online classes, and I actually have them draw a template. I create templates for my students to draw from, and I suggest that they start with sight size method, because that is what you start out with when you learn in an atelier. Sight size drawing from bark drawings, bark plates. So that's bark as B-A-R-G-U-E. If you haven't heard of it, look it up. They're very helpful drawing exercises, but I made my own version of it for my students. Hey Minnow. Oh, that's my quote. Oh, I forgot my own quote. Oh man, how do I do that? Yeah, drawing is the root of all good and evil in painting. Definitely. I didn't even know I had quotes, to be honest, so thank you. I feel special now. Oh, thanks, class. I'm glad you liked my advice. And it's the same thing is true in painting. I mean, don't force a style. Like, I know we haven't really spoken about style at all, but don't force your style. Don't feel like you need to differentiate yourself from other painters, because you are an individual. There's no one in the world like you, and when you paint, it's nothing more than an expression of yourself, and you're expressing something that is unique because you are unique. So what you need is the proper language to speak. So learning how to draw, learning how to paint, and realistically, like in a representational sense, gives you the language that you need to communicate, but without it you can't communicate. So you know, you need these methods to be able to convey your art. But you don't have to worry about style or anything like that. You will create your own individual style, your own individual imagery. Hey class. Yeah, definitely try out the bark drawings. And yeah, skulls. Yeah, drawing skulls is good too. It helps you, learn the bony landmarks. Like for example, like I am one weird person. Like if you ever get to know me in person, I am very strange. Like for one thing, I really love reptiles. Like I have a fascination for reptiles and tarantulas and things that would scare people. I used to ride motorcycles when I was in my early 20s. I know how to make sushi rolls. I rollerblade. I'm a very strange person. Like there's not very many people in the world that are as weird as I am, and that kind of just shows in my paintings, I think. Because in the past, I used to really think hard about how I would differentiate myself or make a name for myself as a painter, and then I realized that that is within you. And I've said things like this before. I guess I'm just repeating myself now. Alright, so I got another robot to get rid of in just a second. And this little passage is probably all I'm going to be able to do. Luckily, I didn't have to paint any of this in a layering format. So exactly what I did here, I'm going to have to continue over here next time. But let me get rid of this robot. Oh, thanks, Angela. Okay. So I've got the little details over here, and next time I'm just going to continue to put this section of stuff from the frame over here. Then we're going to start to paint in the wall. From there, I will probably return to the hair. The hair is kind of missing some stuff, and maybe put another layer into the face. I'm not sure, but definitely I will cover the background. I will definitely cover the background soon, and we're going to get into the flowers, though I got to find pictures of them first. There's going to be some flowers on the bottom section of this painting. So pretty fun, lots of stuff. Let me rotate it so you can see it without the distortion. Okay. So there it is with less distortion, probably more glare. Let me adjust that for you. All right. So that is about 9 o'clock p.m. So let's just see if there's any last minute questions. Oh good, class, I'm glad Yeah, I'm glad you agree too. That's a better way to put it. Personal style comes naturally. I should have just said that. Clear, concise, and to the point. I'm just going to hang out for a couple more minutes, see if there are any last minute questions. Remember, I will be doing these public painting sessions on Tuesdays and Thursdays around 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. To be more specific, 7:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I usually go all the way until 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So Minnow, do you still use transfer paper, or do you do more freehand drawings with paint? I just do freehand drawing with paint, just as you mentioned. And thank you, Angela. Thanks for watching, Stephanie. Well, thanks, Brian. Yep, no problem, Minnow. Alright, so it looks like we don't have any last minute questions. Thank you all so much for watching. Remember, if you like what you're seeing here, if you like the content on my YouTube channel, and you want to take your online art education with me further, please check out my online classes at patreon.com/youpotteryartist. Also typed out for you in the comment section of this video. It is the pinned comment. It is also typed up in the description box of this video. Remember, the online classes start out at just $10 a month. Gets you access to the weekly virtual classroom, all of the playlists for all of the projects, and of course you can contact me much more easily in the online classes. So once again, thank you all so much for watching. I wish you the very best in all of your artwork, and I will see you on the next one.